Hi guys. Some time ago I dropped a question on the social networks if somebody will be interested about learning electronics. And some of you gave a positive feedback, and that's the reason why we went through and we reviewed one area in the house to create more space for the electronics laboratory. Since that, I have been working in the training courses, and now it's time to start with it properly. But let's first try to understand a little bit what is electronics about. Electronics is the study of the movement or behavior of the electrons through the materials. It could be a conductor material, semiconductor material, it could be plasma, or even through insulators. That's in the major concept talking about electronics. But to get in that point, we have to do it through calculus, through physics. And that's what we really do in electronics, a lot of calculus and a lot of physics. I make a video, very basic video about how to use the oscilloscope, and it was a very successful video, and that could give you an idea how do I take the student through the learning process. But we have to make more videos with more mathematics and stuff like that. So now my question is to you. If you want to learn electronics, how do you see yourself doing electronics? Because I always saw around the pictures somebody with test equipment, with the test leads, even with holding the soldering iron sometimes from the hot area. But how do you watch yourself? How do you see yourself in the future? It's a good question. If you think electronics is about one microscope and micro soldering, that stuff is more for technicians than anything else. And technicians, they have to invest in micro soldering equipment, and they like to invest in seminars. Why? Because they are not learning electronics. That's the truth. They pay the seminar, and in the seminar, the teacher, the instructor, the sponsor will tell you, for this model of telephone, if you get this kind of behavior, this kind of symptoms, if the smartphone, tablet, or notebook does this, doesn't do the other, replace this chip. Okay, so that's worthy because you pay for the training, you have the equipment, and next time that the client comes through your business and you get that kind of problem, you know which chip to replace, right? Cool. The major problem is if the client comes with other kind of problem and that kind of symptoms or behavior wasn't in the seminar, and because you don't understand electronics, you cannot figure it out where the problem is, and you don't know what to replace. In that case, I'm sorry, but if you couldn't fix it, you couldn't charge it. Let's be honest. Some places they charge for the trying. If it is impossible, okay, it's not my playing. I have to charge all my time, I understand that. But most of the time, we have the tendency, if I repair it, I would charge. So that's one of the reasons why to learn electronics. And if you see yourself doing that, you need to understand that you have to learn electronics anyway. Now that we clear the panorama, what is electronics about and what am I doing in electronics? As I said, calculus, because it's nice. We look very cool punching the buttons in that panel full of buttons and knobs and touch screen nowadays of the test equipment. But to punch the button and to get a measurement, we need to know if the measurement is correct or not. The equipment will give you what it gets. We are the ones who have to understand what we got. Do you understand the point now? So, learning electronics will take you some time, and it's a process. It's not something that you will take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months. It's a process that where you're going to get the basics probably in the next 2 years, and you're going to be, I say, sharp like a knife probably in 4 years. The basic knowledge, the formulas, the calculus, we can help you a lot with that, but the rest depends how much are you going to invest yourself. About electronics, to get a furnished electronics laboratory or a micro soldering place or whatever, for hobby or for a professional, we are talking about general budget of $2,000, $4,000 for you to figure it out. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to put now $4,000 to get all that equipment. No. I will teach you not only electronics. I want to offer you a whole package, and I'm going to teach you about how to make business, how to manage business. And some of the things that you will learn in those kind of trainings too is, in the moment you think you need money to make a business, that's not the correct business. Money is the consequence of business. You don't invest money to get money. It doesn't work like that. If the product is great, if the idea is good, it for sell itself alone. Do you understand the point? So it's more about the strategy, how to get the equipment, than to put the money right now ahead. We can start with very basic equipment with a very low budget in the next short period of time. And we got a lot of sponsors that I want to share with you. As example, let me see here what we got. Companies like Siegel, they make a huge investment in this electronics laboratory, and I want to thank for their sponsorship, and we are going to work with their equipment. They give a wonderful, one of the best in the market, with very low noise function generator. It's an arbitrary wave function generator. Also, we got one of the best oscilloscopes, 200 megahertz oscilloscope, full equipment, just to teach electronics. And as one of the representatives from Siegel says, to share the passion for electronics. With all their love, they sponsored this equipment for us. We've got companies like NEWCASON through Banggood and also through AliExpress sellers. They supply this kind of equipment. Oscilloscopes in the budget of one multimeter. And as I said to you, if you think you need a lot of equipment, you can start with low budget and get very wonderful results. There is an adaptation for a power supply and can make from any transformer with a bridge rectifier a great power supply with the best characteristics of the top ones in the market. Also, for the ones who wants to repair, there is a device, an analyzer for USB, voltage, current, signal, and all that kind of things. So we can go from learning to the practical stuff on the way. We got the sponsorship of Owon. Owon is a brand of test equipment too. They supply one of the top of the lines multimeters I have, and also one very practical 3 devices in one is a multimeter, oscilloscope, and function generator. One of their best also power supplies. And with all these 3 devices, guys, we already got on the table for any beginner or any business most of the full equipment we need to start with in one full, let's say, practical electronics laboratory. Oscilloscope, multimeter, function generator, and power supply. Companies like Kiwitz, they have been present too, and they are giving and supplying some of they call the best products on sale, but also is the best products they have on the top in the market. And I really appreciate their support. They give different kind of multimeters. They want you to try them. Some multimeters for the ones who are dealing with the voltage, let's say high voltage in electronics, anything upper of the 60 volts is high voltage, or low voltage in DC. If you have to deal with current, and their clamp meter, as example, is something that works with AC and DC voltage. All this equipment is sponsored by them, and we got the support from these companies to make and the videos and to keep teaching electronics. Companies like Miniware introduce in the market very nice products like the Tweezer. Is a digital multimeter, incredible product for nowadays that everything is surface mount, but also because everything is microcontrollers and everything depends from the firmware, but we apply the firmware in function of the electronics is happening in the leads of the microcontroller. There is the LA104. It's a logic analyzer, a very practical device. I got very impressed when I saw the product, both, either one. And guys, nowadays electronics is not only about discrete electronics, one dedicated PCB with functions. Now electronics is about microcontrollers and programming, and you will need this kind of equipment even if you are beginner or a professional. Thanks to Miniware for the support to the channel. We are going to study about digital electronics and analog electronics. And in analog we have a lot to go through with the operational amplifiers. For this case, the company Vitacom.ro and Uni-T, they supply one of the top of the lines multimeters they had in that moment for us to learn about it, and we really appreciate the force of the company and the backup they are giving to us for this kind of electronics courses and trainings. Companies like Mostool has been present too, and they send one of the practical low-cost multimeters, beautiful one. And this kind of multimeters that I am showing, they come with the function of auto. Auto is good for students because if we, the old ones, the professionals, we blow the multimeter like nothing, making mistakes, students, they will do it too. In this case, auto prevents many of the fails, human mistakes we can make, protects the equipment and keeps automatic measurements. Doesn't matter if we do AC voltage, DC voltage, high voltage, low voltage, resistors, or whatever we are doing, just keep it in auto and the multimeter will figure out what you are trying to do and will give you the right measurement. Thanks Mostool for this kind of multimeter. One of the companies that give a great enforce to deserve our thanks is MISIC. MISIC is a company that makes oscilloscopes, the kind of tablet scope, but also makes differential probes and a current probe. And this equipment they gave us is for the beginning of the courses and the end of the courses, because with this kind of equipment we can work safely protecting the oscilloscope from the main lines. Do not make mistakes with the 240 or 120 volts AC. But also this equipment will help us with a better understanding about, let's say, capacitors, charging, discharging, showing the current, rectification, and showing the current, what happens before the diodes, after the diodes. All that we can really study and understand and appreciate it thanks to the backup from MISIC company. We really appreciate their enforce and how they support the channel. They did it through the Banggood companies, and the equipment is here for us to learn electronics And do not forget, guys, the sponsors, they want you to know their products, they want you to prove your products. That's the reason why they back up the education. This kitty thing, I always said, is something that I recommend. It's the Soji. And it's great, practical multimeter, palm size, literally. But on the workbench, when you are repairing, it's a very practical multimeter, and that's the place where I keep it. I really recommend this product. It's sponsored by Soji. Talking about the sponsors and the people who are helping to make this channel going through, I want to thank somebody very special. It's my wife. She sponsored this oscilloscope in the beginning of all this project, and has been supporting me all the last 5-6 years with this project to go through. And this oscilloscope was sponsored by her. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. What is the idea of this training? We watch videos in YouTube, but basic videos. But you know, far away from one oscilloscope, we have as example spectrum analyzers. And spectrum analyzers is not about to learn how to use it. It's about to learn what is going on there. And this is what we want to get with this kind of electronics training. So we will learn all the basics. We will go even through the power factor correction in capacitors, in AC behaviors, inductors. And this is the reason why it took time to furnish all this equipment. Thanks to the sponsors, others equipment, we did it here in the family. And we keep going with this project until open this academy. Multimeters, why do we need 2 multimeters? Okay, we need 2 multimeters, that's right. But different kind of multimeters does different things. And something that I was always teaching is there is not the best multimeter in the market. What we have is the best multimeter about what we need to do, the multimeter that has the capability, that has the features that will solve our needs. That's the best multimeter. There is no best multimeter in the market. It's the multimeter that will solve the kind of test I will need. So we will go through many equipment, learning how to use manual auto range equipment. Let's say low budget equipment, middle budget equipment, whatever is practical for us, but we are going to learn to use it and to apply the correct equipment in the correct measurement. As we watch here, those kind of oscilloscopes are the oscilloscopes that are not grounded. So you can put this kind of oscilloscopes on the main lines in the power supplies. Do you understand now what I mean? The kind of equipment where to apply it. Let's remember, guys, we will need 1 multimeter, 1 function generator, 1 oscilloscope, even if it is low budget, high budget. We have different kind of equipment, even cheap function generators like that, but also we are going to learn in this training how to make our own function generators. And this is important because this training is about learning. This training is not about copy and paste. It's what everybody offers you. Copy and paste. What I'm offering you is learn how to do it. Understand your equipment, understand the situation, understand everything. It's about knowledge. There are also practical components testers. If you can buy something like that, it's very cheap. We can find it anywhere in the planet nowadays. Start with something like this, because this kind of testers will help you for the assembling and products. And also, I want you to get involved with microcontrollers. this kind of microcontrollers we can start. Let's be practical with Arduinos, are the most in the market nowadays. I know there are people who love Peaks, and it's great, and you have to learn all of them. There are about 5 families in the market right now, and it's good if you learn all of them, but we are going to get in this one just involved with one kind of a microcontroller for easier, because you will get more resource. The rest you will do it yourself. In electronics, I always said when we get out of the university, it's not that I am a Mr. Engineer. When we get out of the university, it's like somebody put you in the middle of the highway and you can take any direction you want, but you know how to manage yourself. And this is the most important thing. So getting the basics in one, you keep advancing in the others. What is important is to manage very well all your basics. In this training too, I want you to get involved with radio frequency. Most people are not teaching radio frequency. It's easier to make a video on YouTube and to teach Ohm's law. And everybody gets, wow, this guy knows a lot. But you need to understand the electrical phenomenon and to understand what is happening, and to learn that electronics is not ideal electronics. Many things are happening on the way. In one resistor you have one capacitance and you have one inductance. In one inductance you have capacitance and resistor. In capacitor you have inductance and resistor. In one track you have electrons running on the track and you have an electromagnetic field. And in the components around you have antennas and receptors. I'm not talking about the towers and radio. I'm talking about the PCBA, the printed circuit boards with the components. And that's the reason why we have to learn all this stuff to learn to troubleshoot electronics. So getting involved with the radio frequency and to manage spectrum analyzers. This as example is a spectrum analyzer, very cheap, we can get from China too. And why not? We can get some basics of soldering, but for micro soldering is something else, and there is a lot already in videos. But I can give you some tips and tricks to apply for your electronics too. Now that we got one panorama of what I'm offering you, let's talk about the cost, right? Because everybody gets in YouTube and they offer you something nice and you can sign out today by free, but they want you to pay. Okay, everything has a cost. So this is my proposal. I will make the basic electronics by free in YouTube. If pay attention, if you like what you watch it in YouTube and you think it's worthy, I made other videos more advanced in other kind of social network with a cost. Very cheap cost, something that everybody can pay. But I don't want you to pay now and get involved and maybe I was not so good enough, because it happens to everybody. So let's be honest. All the basic videos in YouTube. If you like what you watch it, if you feel you are learning, then you are welcome to come for the paid videos, and with the paid videos you will get the whole stuff. As I said, something you can afford. Some people even depend on the country. The cost will manage their economic situation in the country, because it's easier if I am in UK, if I am in Canada, Australia, I can charge you for a dollar price. But maybe you are a kind of country where the economy is tough and hard and people get just few money per month. So the cost will depend more than the country. But it's something you can afford. Believe me, nothing extraordinary. So you are welcome after this point. And join us to learn electronics. As I said, this is electronics. We don't work, we just enjoy it. Come with us, and remember, if you feel you are learning, if you feel your work is worthy, pay for the rest. You will support the channel, you will learn more, you will go to the next level. The formulas, the mathematics, the calculus are there, and the understanding of everything that we are not mentioning in the basic course. Welcome, this is electronics. We do not work, we just enjoy it.